Hi, y'all. You all know me. I've been on a few sessions with the folks from JTFN today, but what we're doing right now is learning how to research organizations and choose the right ones that fit your cause and your ideas and your values. And JTFN, the Jewish Teen Funders Network, is a partner that we are working with for a multitude of things, especially our philanthropy campaign. So I will invite them to get things started.
Thank you so much, Jill. Really appreciate the introduction. And just to add some context to who we are and what we do, we support the entire field of Jewish teen philanthropy, which has programs happening all over North America and a few international programs as well, where teens come together to make decisions on giving and do that all through a Jewish lens. So exercises that you're going to be stretching your muscles in today as you participate in this fundraising campaign, in this session, and then also later tonight when you get to cast your vote and make a decision about giving. So for today, before I jump into all the things that we're going to be doing, I just want to take a quick look at the chat. Maybe Danielle, you can read to us a couple of things that people have mentioned as from the prompt, and give people an opportunity. If they haven't put something in the prompt, they can. Oh, I think you're still muted. I'm going to unmute you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we have a question for from Celeste. This is to Susie Fishbein. A request to please create more cookbooks. Wonderful. From Nitsan, Nitsan wants to ask their grandpa, how do you still have such a great sense of humor in times like this? Oh, excellent question. And we know that sense of humor at a time like this is incredibly important and very valuable. So that is an excellent question on that one. Thank you. And if you can think of any other questions, please put them in the chat box. Why is our prompt about asking questions? Well, because our session today is about research and how to ask those right questions and how to find the answers that you want. So Alana, if you want to kick us off with what we'll be covering today, and we'll go from there.
Great, thanks, Danielle. So we're going to be doing covering what is philanthropy, what is it all about, debunking some of those myths that maybe are surrounding it. We're going to go over mission statements. What is a mission statement? How can that, looking up a mission statement, maybe help inform your decision and get a better idea of what an organization does? We are then going to do a little bit of a research scavenger hunt and just sort of test those skills as thinking about things that we want to be asking and want to be finding in a little bit more interactive way. And then finally, we will wrap up and answer any questions you may have going over the things from the session. So to get us started, Danielle is going to dive in about what is philanthropy.
Great, thank you so much. So we're going to debunk a couple of myths about philanthropy, but first of all, I want to hear from you, so feel free to unmute your microphone. If you were to say in one sentence what philanthropy is, does anyone want to go about what philanthropy is? There's not necessarily just one right answer, so I'd love to hear from you if anyone would like to have a go at what philanthropy is.
I guess charitable giving to a cause that's important.
Great, love it. Charitable giving or giving to a cause that's important. Thank you. Anyone else want to have a go at what is philanthropy? That's okay, because that's why we're having this session. So we're going to debunk a few myths about philanthropy, and Ryan, you put it very beautifully about giving to causes that you care about, and really that, you know, the giving side is like the most important. So there is sort of a myth that philanthropy is only for wealthy people. Well, that's not necessarily true. You don't need to be wealthy to do philanthropy. There are people, there are teams who work all the time with giving philanthropy. They might sit on a board, they might be using their own money, they might be using pooled money. It doesn't mean that you have to be a gazillionaire to be a philanthropist. Whether you are giving a small amount of money or a large amount of money, it all makes a difference, and it's about being intentional with your giving. Now, the myth is that it's only for adults. Wrong. We know that's wrong because there are like more than 100 teen philanthropy programs just in North America. That's just the Jewish ones. There are lots of non-Jewish teen giving initiatives as well. So you do not need to be an adult to do philanthropy. In fact, teens are making huge strides in what philanthropy means. And actually, that is what you're all doing as well today by doing some fundraising. And then we're going to be allocating money through a vote later this evening at 9 o'clock. Here is another myth that the team at JTFN often talk about, because it kind of goes under the radar, which is only non-profits with low overheads should be considered. And what does that mean? That means that a non-profit that maybe has a small staff or doesn't have a lot of programmatic costs, that those are the ones that should be funded, because they're not paying out lots of money in things that aren't programs. It means that they're paying little for salaries and for spaces, etc. That is also a myth. It depends on what the organization is. If it's an organization that is very heavily dependent on volunteers, but you need to pay a volunteer coordinator to run that program, then some of that money is going to need to go to overhead because it's going to need to go onto a salary. There's the other spectrum where there are some organizations that have no overheads. They have a team of only volunteers, they don't have a physical space, they do everything online, and they're valuable too. So actually it goes both ways. You can have an organization with high overheads and an organization with low overheads. They are both still valuable organizations as long as you're like judging them on their merits as a non-profit organization. So I just wanted to kind of debunk that myth as well. So I am now going to pass over to Alana to explain a little bit about, we talked about philanthropy, we're now going into kind of the non-profit realm, or non-governmental organizations, or however you want to class them, and their mission statements. So over to you, Alana.
Thanks. So in trying to understand where we're giving and a little bit about the organization, part of it is knowing what is the mission of an organization. But before we find out what is the mission, what is a mission statement? So maybe I could have Michelle, would you mind reading for me what the definition of a mission statement is?
Of course. The Oxford Dictionary definition of a mission statement is a formal summary of the aims and values of a company, organization, or individual.
Perfect, thank you. So very simply put, it's the goal, it's their aim, it's what they want to do. So they put it out there in this statement so you as a visitor or a donor really understand what is the aim of this organization. Great. Can you go to the next slide? Thanks. And could I have another volunteer, maybe Emily, would you be willing to read the mission statement for Hazon?
Sure. Hazon is the largest faith-based environmental organization in the US and is building a movement that strengthens Jewish life and contributes to a more environmentally sustainable world for all. As the Jewish Lab for Sustainability, Hazon affects change through immersive experiences and inspires individuals and communities to make specific commitments to change with a particular focus on food systems.
Thank you. And so very simply put, like, this is a great example of a mission statement. And from this simple statement of just a couple of sentences, we have a better understanding and a better idea of what Hazon does. And this applies to any nonprofit that you can find, that they are going to have this kind of statement on their website. Very often, if you visit their About section, if you go to a website, you'll be able to find their mission statement. Or even if you just Google the name of the organization and mission statement, that should pull it up for you. But it gives you that clearer idea. And as you're thinking about where you want to fund, it's a really great starting point to get that better understanding. In this case, we know Hazon is doing faith-based environmental work. And if that's something that resonates as important to you, you could say, great, I want to learn more about this organization. It's that launch pad, really. So if you go to the next slide, so places have both a mission statement and a vision statement. And to get an understanding of, like, what is the difference, maybe Emma, would you read for us the difference between what is a mission and what is a vision?
Yes, of course. In general, a mission statement defines what an organization is currently doing, while a vision statement is basically the ultimate goal of what they'd like to accomplish. The mission is what people do in order to achieve the vision. It is the how, mission, versus the why, vision.
Great, thank you. And so very often when you visit a website, you'll see both their vision statement and a mission statement. And this is just to help you a little bit to understand, like, that current action item that they're doing in order to achieve that vision. So thank you so much. And so we're going to do a little activity now to just flex our muscles and doing some research. Obviously, like, when you're doing this in your own time, you'll have a lot more time to really dig in and look on the internet and find out, and maybe even reach out and have a personal conversation with somebody at that organization. But for today, we're going to do this research scavenger hunt. So I'm going to pass over to Danielle, and I'm going to go into the back end so I can share my screen with all of you. So Danielle, if you want to take it from here.
Sure. So if you look at the website on your screen, it is menti.com. It will ask you for a code. You will enter that code. You can use your phone, or you can use a separate browser on your computer. And we're going to do a little bit of a scavenger hunt. So we're doing we're going to ask you some questions, and you have to find the answers to those questions. Okay, so you might have to do some nifty Googling or going to some websites. So we're going to be looking at some questions about particular nonprofits. And this is all just really great practice well, tonight a team committee have pre-selected the 4 organizations that you're going to be choosing from tonight. So you can always do a little bit of extra research, but know that some research has already been done about those. But just generally in your life about when you want to give, or if you're going to do a collective giving program, or just a little bit more info for tonight. Here are some, like, little tips and tricks that you might look for when you are doing some nonprofit research.
And one other thing I'll just mention is that there is a supplementary resource that goes with this session. So if you want to think about, like, these things in a more comprehensive way, you can go find that resource and utilize it either today if you want to find out more about the organizations that we potentially could fund tonight, or any other time throughout the year when you're working with your chapters thinking about giving.
Wonderful. All right, so without further ado.
Are we all logged in? Great. Yes, good.
Yep, go for it.
Oh no. Hold on, I have to clear results. All slides. Cool.
Let's try that again.
Take 2. Okay.
Aha. Ooh, they're all our little thingies. Okay.
Start the quiz.
Okay, the question is, what is the last word in the last bullet point of the mission of the National Yiddish Volksbein Theatre? And you have a minute to find the answer.
So if you're on a computer, you can either open up a separate browser or you can go to your phone, whatever is easier. 10 seconds remaining. Pressure. Time is up.
Oh.
So the answer is generation. Awesome. So, we ready for the next question?
Let's go for it. Okay, next question. What year was HIAS founded? HIAS. Ooh, 15 seconds. I guess if you're on a phone, it takes a little bit longer than if you're browsing. Oh, wow, everyone did it with 8 seconds to spare. The correct answer is 1881. Okay, next question. And it's interesting, like where you find the answers on certain websites, right? So sometimes it's a little bit of digging around. Oh, is Chai Lifeline a local, national, or global organization?
And just a little bit more specific on the meaning of that, do they serve their local community, national being the US, or are they serving people and having programs globally? Just for clarification, in case you are unfamiliar.
Thank you. 10 seconds. Oh, okay, time is up. Global is the correct answer. Okay. All right. Next question. How many followers does Keshet at Keshet GLBT Jews have on Twitter? Enter the numbers only. Okay, 15 seconds. Okay, nearly there. And time is up. Okay, so it is 10.4K. All right, let's see who was the winner. We're all winners. Oh wait, is there one more question? Oh, sorry. There's one more question. Find and enter the name of one publication that has recently written about the Met Council on Jewish Poverty. Google to find the most recent. Ten seconds. Okay. So okay, the top answer was Politico, but I think we, I don't think you get points if you don't get the second one, but it's okay. Because the points are really just there for glory, you know, rather than an actual prize. Okay, so we're going to see who finished first. Millie, you are the winner, followed closely by Joanna, and in third place is whoever is being Wolfmeister. Millie! Oh, it named me Millie. Michelle, you are the winner. Amazing. Okay, so why did we do our little mini scavenger hunt? Other than, you know, you get to find out a little bit about some nonprofits, but it just shows you maybe where and how you can find some information. When you're looking for information on a mission, there might not be a tab on the website that says mission. You might have to go into the About Us section or into the History section. If you want to find even more about an organization, you might want to look at their social media presence. You might want to look at Twitter, or if they have an Instagram, or if they have a Facebook page. Looking at like how old or how long an organization has been in existence, again, it's not a measure of like how good the organization is. You can be very young and good and very old and good as far as the organization length, but it just gives you an idea and adds a little bit of background about that organization for when you do your research. So I am going to pass it over to Alana to wrap us up and before we have to go. Oh, you're on mute.
Thank you, Danielle. So finally, in these last moments together, we really, I think, are pretty much out of time, but I do want to just mention that as you look at these organizations and continue to fundraise, these are also things that you can mention as you campaign today. You can bring up, you know, we're supporting these 4 different organizations, and here's a few things about them. Here's something about their mission. Here's something about how long they've been in existence or the work that they're currently doing to combat coronavirus or help with access or whatever they're doing in this current time. So these are things that you can research and share as you campaign. I see that there's, okay. And then just finally, if there's any questions, because we are short on time, I'm going to just put my email in the chat. And if you want to email me directly, I'm happy to answer any questions that this session raised for you or anything just in general about Jewish teen philanthropy. So please feel free to take down my email. Also, I'm just going to put the campaign, givebetter.com/jserve2020. And so if you go to givebetter.com/jserve2020, you can share that on your social media and campaign and share some of these things that you've started to think about. Also, don't miss out, 9 p.m. tonight. is the big moment where we all get to really make this decision and put some of these things into practice, the pieces that you've researched. Oh, great question. 9 p.m. Eastern time zone. So depending on where you're located, make that adjustment accordingly. And so tune in for that, and you will have the opportunity to vote live for the organization that that you would like to see receive this money, and each organization will receive a percentage of that distribution based on your votes. So you really can make an impact and make a difference in helping to make those choices. I can't say enough, it impresses me so much that you're spending your free time on your Sunday being here and doing this important work. So we really just value that so much and appreciate you spending your time with us. And apart from that, we look forward to seeing you tonight at the primetime event. So thanks again, and again, reach out if you have any questions.
Yeah, something else that I'd like to add really quickly is that we're almost at $2,000. We're like $200 away from 2,000. So if y'all want to hop on that fundraising train, help us out, we would appreciate it. So that way, when we vote to pick which organizations we're donating to, that you really are putting your money and your time behind it, which is something that we would all greatly appreciate. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Jill. That's amazing. And yeah, I can just echo that. So thanks again, and we will see you later on.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.